The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Drive with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Jamie, good news for the Rangers. They win last night over the Halos 5-3.
Very good news.
Yeah.
They kind of keep rolling at home.
And seem to continue to get, I think, pretty good pitching. Jamie?
Yeah, Kumar Rocker with his first career win. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, I mean, and hopefully that hand pays off. He went 7 innings last night, 5 hits, 3 runs, all of them earned, struck out 8. Boy, can't ask for a whole lot more than that, can you?
Yeah, he pitched well.
Yeah. So there you go. So
if we could only have the Rangers play the Angels every night, that'd be awesome.
Well, they'll play a Los Angeles team tonight. This one
gets a little more real.
Yeah. I was gonna say this one is a little bit more. They got a little bit more going on. The Dodgers are 14-6. Rangers are 12-7, but they got this guy named Shohei Ohtani, and then a whole lot more than that. It's not just the Shohei show, but he's a big part of it, isn't he?
You could take Shohei off their roster. He's the best player in baseball. You could take him off their roster, and they'd still have the best roster in baseball.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't even be close.
It would not even be close. Okay, Jamie, how good's your Japanese?
Not good at all.
Okay. I'm gonna give this a whirl, okay? Yoshimbo Yamamoto.
Nailed it.
Nailed it, okay. Goes up against Jacob DeGrom. Oh, another opportunity for Jacob DeGrom pitching tonight. You know, he's 0-0 with a 430 earned run average. But he's still pitching. I mean, that's good. That's good.
Hey, Jeff, are you there?
I am.
I thought Chuck made a promise that he was going to stop, questioning DeGrom's health every time he came to the mound.
That's true.
Well, he didn't actually
not
question his health there. I hate to be technical.
Jeff, that wasn't what that was about.
He didn't actually.
It's another opportunity.
He could be thinking Jacob DeGrom was going to retire. He didn't come out and say it. However, Chuck, there's a line there. Getting really close to it. Really close to it.
I'll see if I can step back away from it.
That might be a good plan.
Okay, so the Astros will play tonight. We'll have that game for you on 100.7 The Score. They take on the San Diego Padres. That game will take place in Houston, and we'll have it for you at 6:40 on 100.7 The Score tonight. The Astros are 8 up and 10 down. San Diego's off to a good start. They're 15-4. I guess I should say great start. Ryan Gusto will go for the Astros tonight against Kyle Hart for the Padres. Is it just me, or do I feel like that the Padres get off to either a reasonably good start or a really good start, or play good baseball early and then fade in August and September?
Man, it feels like last year they finished strong.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah. And
I felt like they finished strong. I could be wrong, but I mean, they obviously played well in the postseason. They had the Dodgers in a deciding game.
Mm-hmm. And it's hard when you're. I mean, when you're in the same division as the Dodgers, and you're the Padres or anybody else, and the amount of money that the Dodgers are expending and all that kind of stuff, it makes it really difficult to be competitive. Jamie, I think for you, and I don't know if you'll have time to read it today, but I've just briefly skimmed it on ESPN.com under the Major League Baseball section.
I won't read it.
Inside the secret world of Major League Baseball pickleball. Does that concern you? Does that disturb you that the Major League Baseball is so heavily involved in pickleball?
No, not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. It's just, I mean, whatever they want to do for their hobbies, there's nothing wrong with that.
Apparently, part of this article talked about during the 2023 run to the World Series, the Texas Rangers support staff got into playing pickleball, and it got to the point where the players were really heavily involved in it, making sure that they were playing pickleball, because that series where they went to Seattle like at the end of the year and during the regular season, and they lost that series to Seattle. I think they got swept. And one of the players went to one of the support guys and said, "Did you guys play pickleball in Seattle?" "No." "Okay, well, you're playing in Tampa," when they flew across the country and so then from then on, wherever they were, they made sure that they were playing pickleball, including in Arizona at some fancy hotel at the Biltmore. And apparently the pickleball got so loud that Bruce Bochy left his hotel room and went to the stadium early. But because they played pickleball, Jamie, they won those postseason series and eventually won the World Series and got to spill the champagne. And it's all because the support staff and those that have been traditionally played pickleball at the appropriate time so that they could keep their streak going.
All right, well, good on them. Silly me, I thought it was about the pitching and the hitting that they did.
No,
Orlando Garcia, not Orlando Garcia.
They were really
Adolis Garcia. I'm in take baseball mode. That Adolis Garcia decided to knock the cover off the baseball for about 2 weeks.
That was part of it, but because
silly me,
because they had played pickleball, the pickleball gods and the baseball gods that had gotten together to form this conspiracy, then allowed Mr. Garcia to knock the cover off the ball. Not so good news for the Red Raiders softball team last night. They fall to Arizona in Tucson. Texas Tech had its 11-game winning streak snapped as Arizona took game one of the series, a score of 2-1. I feel like we've had some pretty low-scoring games from the softballers, and I don't know if that's because you've just faced really good pitching and you have really good pitching. I'm guessing, because it seems to me that usually I would see those scores. It seemed like they would be elevated, but wasn't the case last night. Okay.
Yeah, I think when you bring in the number one pitcher in the world, I think you're expecting to have low-scoring games as far as on your side of things now.
Yeah.
I guess the other teams have good pitching too, and that's why your offense is a little bit slow. But I guess next year we're going to need to save some of the money for some more hitters.
They're allowed to do that.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is Friday, April the 18th. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Howdy, guys.
Howdy.
When we look...
I thought we weren't supposed to say howdy.
You know what? I refuse to let Aggies tell me I can't use a word.
Jamie, you okay with that?
I mean, I'll never say it in my life, but I'm not going to tell you guys what you need to do.
Okay.
1950. Yankees win 15-10. That is not the amazing part. The fact that they were trailing the Boston Red Sox 9-0 in the sixth inning and came back to win 15-10 is the amazing part. 1966, Bill Russell becomes the first African-American coach in NBA history, coaching for the Boston Celtics. 1987, Mike Schmidt hits his 500th home run, this one versus Robinson of the Pirates.
Harry Callis said Michael Jack Smith.
Well, it's Schmidt.
Yeah, I slurred it there. I'm sorry. But
it is a word I have to be very careful.
I was trying to give you the Harry Callis. I just kind of slurred it there at the end.
1988 NFL Draft, Tennessee quarterback Peyton Manning, not to be confused with Eli, first pick by the Indianapolis Colts.
Okay. And he wanted to go there.
Eli?
No, Peyton. Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Eli didn't. He didn't want to go to the Chargers.
1999, Wayne Gretzky plays his last game in the NHL as his New York Rangers lose 2-1 to the Pittsburgh Penguins.
He kind of bounced around at the end, didn't he?
L.A. to New York?
from Edmonton?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like... I don't think he was bouncing around like some NBA players have bounced around. He was traded to L.A. and then signed a deal with the Rangers.
It might be a little bit too...
I think it's when I think of bouncing around, that's not a compliment to a player.
No,
he signed one extra.
That probably wasn't fair because you got college basketball players that played for like 7 teams,
and that's just in one semester.
Yeah.
And in 2021, left-handed pitcher Mason Montgomery struck out 12, and Cal Conley went yard twice. As number 8 Texas Tech baseball team toasted a 10-1 victory over West Virginia to claim the series win on the road. Happy Animal Crackers Day. Today is the birthday of the animal cracker.
Okay, are these the ones that you get like in the little box, or are these the ones that you get in the pink bag with the pink frosting on them?
I think these are the ones that look like animals that are classified as cookies/crackers.
I think real animal crackers are the ones in the box.
Yeah, the box. Yeah. Do you like the ones in the cookies in the pink bag with the pink icing on them, Jamie? Do you like those kind of animal crackers?
I don't think I've ever had those.
Oh man, those are really good.
Kourtney Kardashian, 46 today. David Tennant is 54. Conan O'Brien, 62. James Woods, 78. Jeff Dunham, 63. Melissa Joan Hart, 49. And Miguel Cabrera is 42.
Miggy.
And on this day, 1942, U.S. needs a win with the war with Japan. 16 American B-25 bombers launched from the aircraft carrier USS Hornet 650 miles east of Japan, commanded by Lieutenant Colonel James H. Doolittle, attacked the Japanese mainland. The now famous Tokyo raid did little real damage in Japan. Tojo was inspecting military bases during the raid. One B-25 came so close he could see the pilot through the American bomber never fired a shot. But it did hurt Japanese government's prestige. Believing that the air raid had been launched from Midway Island, approval was given to the Japanese Navy for plans to attack Midway, which will also damage Japanese prestige. Doolittle Venture received the Medal of Honor for his part. A book describing the raid, 30 Seconds Over Tokyo, by Ted Lawson, was adapted into a film starring Spencer Tracy in 1944. If you are interested in aviation at all, look into the Doolittle raid and the Doolittle Raiders. You will not be disappointed. And that is This Day in Sports History.
This Day in Sports History. Thank you, Jeff. 6:50 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We'll have Red Raider baseball on the air for you tonight. They take on Arizona State. In case you missed it last night, Texas Tech bowed to Arizona State, and so they'll get back at it tonight. 8:30 the broadcast time, 9 o'clock first pitch. Jamie, I know you've been waiting for this news. Aaron Rodgers is still undecided on his future. Okay.
All right. Well, it seems like if you tune on the morning shows on our 2 radio stations, that's the only topic they know to talk about.
They're obsessed with it. Yes.
I'm glad that he hasn't announced anything, because we would just have dead air on our radio stations.
Yes. He was on Pat McAfee yesterday for 45 minutes. And then there's this line: offered little clarity on his next steps or a timeline for making a decision. He was on for 45 minutes, but offered little clarity. He said, I might retire, I might not. He said, I wasn't stringing anyone along. I wasn't holding anyone hostage. I was honest from the jump where I was mentally and some of the constraints I have in my life right now that warrant my attention. Okay. More when we know it, okay?
I, for some reason, am not bothered by this whole ordeal with Rodgers. As much as he's been annoying to me of late, He, whatever. When he decides, he decides. Some team will sign him at some point.
My thought now is, since he hasn't signed and the draft is next week, my thought now might be he might wait and see, okay, is there a contender kind of at the end of the season, halfway through, quarterback gets hurt, team feels like they have a nice run to the Super Bowl, there's a nice big offensive line to protect him, good receivers, good running back, defense more than decent, and they'd have a shot to win it all. And that he would come and jump in and be the hero.
Yeah, possibly. I could see some of that going on.
Yeah, because that could happen. So we'll see. We will see. The draft will be next week, and see. It'll be interesting to see what the Cowboys do. I have no clue what they're going to do, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. It'll be interesting to see if they can sign Micah Parsons. We're still waiting on that. You don't want to let him just walk out of town without anything, but I don't know. It could happen very, very easily. The NBA playoffs, I guess the play-in games are tonight. Dallas is in action this evening. As far as the Mavericks are concerned, they're trying to, I don't know, kind of just at least figure out a way to have a little bit of success. They're in Memphis to take on the Grizzlies for the 8th seed. This is a play-in game. The Miami Heat and the Atlanta Hawks also are actually. These are two sub-500 teams that are playing tonight. Heat 37-45, Hawks 40-42. They're playing for the East 8th seed. The Mavericks are 39-43. At least the Grizzlies have an above 500 record. They're 48-34. So neither one of those teams that come out of that are going to go very far, I don't think, unless it's Memphis. And
your daily dose of sports and fun. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
I'm Chuck Heinz. We will have Houston Astro baseball on the air for you tonight. They take on the first-place team in the National League West, the San Diego Padres. This used to be a divisional matchup for the Astros, but not anymore. It's interleague. 6:40 tonight on 100.7 The Score against the San Diego Padres. We really don't even call it interleague anymore. It's just, they're paying the Padres. Right?
I think it's still interleague.
Well, it is, but we really just don't call it anymore because everybody's just playing everybody. I don't even know why we even have leagues anymore. I wonder if they'll ever do away with, quote, American League and National League. The traditionalists wouldn't allow that, would they?
Why would they do that?
I don't know, but
aren't you going to need to have a champion on the American League side?
Yeah, but on
the National League side?
But
now here's the better question, Jamie. Why don't they get rid of the NFC and AFC? That just feels ridiculous to me. They all play everybody anyway.
Yeah. Why do they do that?
I don't know. It still rankles me to a
degree. We didn't notice, Chuck.
Yeah.
Thanks for letting us know.
Completely new information. No, please continue.
Right, yeah.
Had no idea.
Still rankles me that we got all this interleague stuff going on so early on in the season.
Yes, yes. It's, one of the travesties of sports.
It is. Hey, guess who I saw out in the wild last night at Buddy Holly Hall? I thought I saw this figure coming in. I'm like, well, that looks like so and so. I'm like, nah. And then during halftime, I looked down there, and there he was. Of course, he's sitting on the second row or the third. I think it was the second. Choice Woodman. And not all the whole Woodman clan, just some of the Woodman clan. But it looked like he had one of his younger kids with him. I don't like using the word kids. I like to use the word children or young people. He had one of his younger children with him.
What in the world is going on right now?
I don't know. He had one of his youngsters with him. How about that? Youngsters.
There's so much of this that is so perfect for this show right now. Chuck makes a comment, tries to make a point about sports, realizes that everybody knows it's a dumb take. So he then just flips to, I'm going to talk about something that has nothing to do with sports and what I did with my night last night.
No, I just was letting you know.
And then he stumbles through, common English.
Right, common English.
Joyce Woodman's children.
I just wanted to let you know that I saw him out in the wild last night.
Okay. You know, right, well, let me get my notepad out and let me know where Joyce was last night.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you had I thought you might. I feel like it might have put an injection in him so that you would always know where one of those.
I feel bad because I was texting him throughout the course of the night.
One of those dots.
And I hope I wasn't messing up his show.
I don't think he stayed for the all of it at the end. When I didn't see his head at the end, so I think he was.
One of his childs had to get home to bed? Or
one of his children, yeah.
One of his kidren or whatever we want to call him?
Right. I did see him struggling to take a selfie, so I went down there and took a picture for him. So, helped him out a little bit. Goodness, that was painful. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that.
Childs. What's wrong with kids?
I don't know. Kids are like kids. Kids are like offspring of goats.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that is fair, but I mean, and Joeys are offsprings of kangaroos, but we still call him Joey Maguire, right?
Yeah. Let's see here. In every other major sport, everyone plays everyone, but when baseball does it, it's an issue. They've been doing it for over 25 years at this point. Yeah, I know. Jamie, you can go to doubleTSportsNetwork.com and keep track of every transfer portal move in and out for this Red Raider football team, also the basketball team as well. But as of last night, there's a total of 9 in the portal. As I'm looking at this list, I don't think that anybody concerns me. I mean, I guess, the offensive lineman that we discussed the other day concern you just from a depth standpoint. But those going in yesterday include Sam Carroll. Also going in, Devin Cromwell. This one kind of surprised me only because his dad played here. Sammy Morris is going into the portal. He tweeted out to Texas Tech, it has always been a dream of mine to play here. I wouldn't change a thing to Coach McGuire and the rest of the staff. You all have taught me so much. I will carry on forever. With that being said, I will be entering the transfer portal. Okay.
Yeah, just clearly a situation. It's a kid that wants to play.
Yeah.
So he does it the right way and showed nothing but respect there in his tweet. And so I understand he wants to play, and so obviously you root for him and wish him the best of luck.
Jordan Stanford, who was a defensive back for Texas Tech, he was a class of 23, 4-star recruit. So you would have thought a good get for Coach McGuire. Had 15 tackles last year. He is in the transfer portal. And Aiden Meeks is also in the transfer portal. So that was the additions yesterday to add to Isaac Smith, Dylan Shaw, and Nick Fattig, plus Anthony White. So 9 in so far. And my guess is, Jamie, that these are guys that looked at their situation, looked at the depth chart, and self-selected them out of the process and said to themselves, man, I love being here, or I like being here, but in order for me to play, it ain't going to be here.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of that going on there.
Mm-hmm. Don't see anybody necessarily holding out for more money or, Hey.
Yeah, no, I think this is a playing time thing. I can't be angry with any of those guys.
Yeah, no. And again, I'm not aware of anybody in the portal that Texas Tech is really wanting to go after. Another guy that put his hat in the ring, so to speak, he's yet to really kind of stay in the ring, but his hat's in the ring in the portal is Micah Hudson.
Okay.
Do you think
it's an interesting? That's a really interesting guy at this point.
Yeah.
To see where he's going to end up.
Rob Bro told me that he made a visit to Utah yesterday.
Okay.
So.
That Rob did or Micah Hudson did?
No, Micah Hudson did. I don't think Rob Bro's in the portal.
Well, I mean, you updated us on where Choice was.
Oh, sure. I've not seen Rob Bro in the wild, with the exception of him being at the Double T 97.3 Coors Light postgame show over at the Overton. But I noticed he's got a following. He's got people that kind of follow him around like band groupies. So I mean, I think as many people know Rob Bro as many people know Chuck Heinz. You might be he might be in contention for most famous Double T 97.3 member right now. Does that challenge bother you? I just don't think that's true.
But does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me. I mean,
who was the young lady that you met at the event last night?
Annette.
I bet Annette didn't come up to Choice Woodman and tell him.
She didn't. She didn't sashay down, 6 or 7 more aisles, rows, and Annette got to meet the lucky lady too last night.
You know what my favorite part of all this is?
What's that?
This is that Choice had better seats than you.
He did. That's okay. I don't necessarily want to sit on the second row or the first. We had really good seats, and we had aisle seats.
You're probably right. That totally makes sense to me. At the same time, I bet
you also brought it up.
You hated that he was.
No, I did go.
Even if you liked your seats better, the perception that Choice had a better seat.
It's all good.
Bothers you so much.
No.
You're a little bothered, Chuck.
No.
It's fine. No. You're allowed to be bothered.
No, I'm not bothered at all. Because I had an aisle seat and he had to sit in the middle, and he had people going around.
Is Chuck bothered by Choice?
This is the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is brought to you by Connecticut of West Texas.
All right, guys. Today I'm going to ask you to predict something. Obviously, we know the Red Raider spring football game this weekend is hot and heavy on the minds of all Red Raider fans, as it should be. Obviously, a very exciting time with this football program. And we will be talking a lot about that spring football game on Monday when we come back from the weekend. So I'm asking you today to be somewhat of a journalist and predict what will be the storyline if you were writing a story on Monday about the spring football game. What's the storyline going to be?
Somewhat of a journalist.
Somewhat.
I do have a journalism degree, by the way. I mean, technically, and I don't really consider myself a journalist, but technically I do have a journalism degree. Broadcast journalism, by the way. Let's see. What is going to be the storyline? I think people will be impressed by the size of the defensive line. I don't know that they're going to do anything because, it's going to be hands off and all that kind of stuff. But maybe, I think the storyline might be just how massive and big an improvement your defensive line is this year from last year, Jamie.
Okay.
So I want to make sure I'm kind of understanding. Are you wanting the headline that's going to be or just the tease for, I guess, with the way to put it? Which angle are you more looking for here?
I mean, if you're going to give us a headline and say, Red Raiders show off talent in spring football game, that's boring. You haven't really predicted anything.
Okay. The headline is going to be the story coming out of this. My guess is going to be how vanilla everything looked. That while there was some big plays on both sides, didn't really get a big depth of what you expect to see in the fall with the offense and defense. holding the cards close to the vest kind of thing. That's what I imagine is going to happen, especially when you factor in the idea that it's going to be a lot of situational stuff. They're going to be doing some one-on-one stuff for a while, which aren't really plays. It's just kind of things going on that you're not going to get a great look at what we're going to see in the fall.
Okay. I think we'll overreact and be talking about Will Hammond, and I think it'll be on the positive side. I think that there'll be people saying, "Well, Bear Morton doesn't come back. I think we're good with Will Hammond. He really showed out and looked really good in his second year, taking snaps, and so I think that we're gonna be very high on Will Hammond after Saturday."
Who will be singing his praises the highest?
I would definitely say you're the biggest overreactor of the three of us.
Yes. I think you're probably right. I'll probably come up with some kind of, man, his spin was really good, or even the quote number 3 quarterback. That I'll be speaking glowingly of him, Jamie.
Hopefully you learned his name before then.
Yeah.
His name is Wake Forest. We've decided that. On the
Mitch Griffiths.
Yeah, that's it too.
Yeah. Number 12 is what he is. Number 12 in your program. So, you're probably right about that. My other thought was that we probably would speak glowingly about Quentin Joyner, the running back, the transfer from USC. That we'll probably be impressed by his speed and his ability to break through the line and, be a guy that can come in and, I don't know, he's not going to make you forget about Taj Brooks, but he'll be the guy that, can help you get some good yardage on the day.
I'm excited about that group. I really am.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of reason to be. I'll be curious if Cameron Valdez gets to see the field very much. I'm still surprised that he came back, but
me too. Maybe
he's on the roster.
Maybe Valdez realizes it's about getting his degree, and he likes it here, and wants to contribute what he can on the football field, but knows the more important thing is finishing up his degree here.
Yeah.
There are some athletes that care about that part of it.
Yes, there are.
I you know how much I hate the narrative that nobody goes to class and nobody cares.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's a bit of a false narrative. I'm also curious to see what the holdover running backs look like, Jacoby Williams and Cameron Dickey, because both those guys I think we felt really good about towards the end of the season.
A holdover. It's funny.
Well,
returning. It's just so surprising that we have players that come back for a second year.
Yeah, holdovers. That's fair, right?
It's not inaccurate.
I don't
know what they held over from just last season.
Well,
usually guys hold over through a coaching change or whatever.
Mm-hmm. They came back. They came back for another bite of the apple. A big bite of the apple, I think, too.
That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm also curious about our. You know what? I'm going to probably avoid the. I'm probably going to seek out the punter. I'll probably see if I can get you some hang times of what we see from the punter, Jamie.
Will you?
Yeah. That's probably what I'll overreact about. I'll be like, "Man, Jamie, I think we got us one there." And then Upton Belafonte.
What is a normal hang time for a punt?
I don't know. 3 or 4 seconds. I don't think he's going to be Reggie Roby or anything.
3 or 4. I think you're going to need to be a little bit more accurate. Jamie punted it up there, and it was like up in the air there for 3 or 4 seconds. If we're truly going to analyze using the numbers for a punter, I think you're going to need to be a little more concrete on that.
Yeah.
It just went. You should have seen it. That's what we're going to get.
Maybe it should be, maybe the reaction should be how many people I can just talk to, whether it's on the sidelines, in the stands, parking lot. I'm curious if anybody's tailgating.
Okay, here's the number I want. Number of people you talked to, number of plays you saw. Those two compared. That's the number I want. That's the only number I want. No other stat matters.
The Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3 is presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction.
Good morning with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Great to have you with us today on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that. The Visual Edge IT hotline is open, too, at 806-771-0973. We come to you, Jamie, Jeff, and I, from the First United Bank studio. Jamie is in Tempe with the Red Raider baseball team. They fell last night 10-4. Jamie, and I don't think, I'm not calling him out here on this because he and I had conversation about this, I think, on the air during a Lady Raider broadcast when Fink and I were in Tempe. But he was trying to sell me and I don't know, the listeners on calling Arizona State a state. And so when we got to their arena, the one that there's two different arenas they play at. There's the one that's on campus, and then there's a city arena that I think is a little bit smaller that they play some games at. Our game was at the one that was on campus, and it was the same day as the college football playoff game. And so, me being an inquisitive guy, I wanted to know if anybody signed off on the A State, because you got Iowa State. They don't go by I-State, but you got K-State, and they do go by K-State. That is, I think, approved by all their sports information people to say the word K-State. You can't say KSU, but you can say K-State. But anyway, I just wanted to get your take on the calling Arizona State a state, if you felt like that was if that would be a good way to kind of shorten things up for them.
Jeff, would you like to answer?
No, I think I'll let you take this one.
I've never heard it called K-State.
Yeah, that was my point. That was
and it was also my point when you asked me the other two times.
Oh, this is the third time I've asked you?
Yeah.
This is a frequent conversation.
I'm so sorry.
Yes, see, I also don't know if a hot dog is a sandwich.
No, I'm not going to ask you about that question.
And I don't know if Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
I'm not going to ask you that one either. I don't think I've ever asked you if Die Hard was a Christmas movie, and I've never, ever in the history of ever asked you if a hot dog was a sandwich. Never.
Okay.
See, Jamie's answer would be it's not a hamburger.
So who cares, right?
Right.
That's good. That's a good point. It's a really good point.
Okay. This is another thing that I will never ask you again. Okay.
I don't know that I've ever heard anybody
call them A-State.
Call them A-State, and you told us, that weekend that you had, or that next week that you had.
That's been a few months.
You had you told us that you had stopped 100 cars here in Tempe and asked them, and all the above. I think that you have us all believing you're right. So that's good.
Okay.
Yeah. And we again, I love how you continue to throw your partner under the bus.
I'm not throwing him under the bus.
Mark,
no.
Mark said this.
Well,
and, he was wrong and I was right.
No, not really trying to point that out. No, it's just trying to. No, it's just stir up a conversation. But clearly, I've already had this conversation. Much like Centex Hank wrote in earlier about something, and I had made the point. Well, we've kind of talked about this, and Centex Hank pointed out to me is like, look, I'm 10 years older than you, Chuck. Sometimes I forget what was said in the past. So I'm going to say, Jamie, I'm 11 years older than you, so sometimes I forget what I've said in the past.
It happens. I don't think you have to be old to forget things.
No, unfortunately not. Unfortunately not. So anyway, so we've beat that horse to death now. So we don't.
Yeah, poor Mark Finkner. I mean, he's somewhere right now, just
shaking
Friday's down because everybody in the
can't get that guy down.
Just listening on the Double T 97.3 mobile app and listening on Double T 97.3 knows he was wrong once. It's the only time ever. But,
yes.
I mean, still.
He is never.
There goes his perfect record.
He is never wrong.
I mean, Mike, he's basically pulling a Terrell Owens right now. He's sitting crying, talking to the media going, that's my partner, man. Why is he doing this to me?
Just keeps calling him out.
Well,
poor Fink, man.
Poor Fink. He deserves better.
I got that guy's back, man.
he deserves better.
All the things he could call you out for, he never gets on the radio and does it.
Oh yeah, there's no doubt. Well, I've hit my head once since then, so maybe that's why.
Once.
See, you know what? That's a great point.
Yeah,
that is a great point.
I hit my head.
We should. Yeah, anything that happened before that, we should understand that you don't remember.
I'm rebooting. Yeah.
Yes, we have rebooted. That's totally fair, Chuck. Completely fair.
Let's see here. This I see this headline. It is weird. The Yankees, who have a spring training home in Tampa, Florida, will be playing at Steinbrenner Field against the Tampa Bay Rays, and Tampa Bay's the home team.
It did seem odd seeing their highlights yesterday.
Yeah. So the Yankees did win last night, 6-3. But yeah, so it's just kind of crazy how you have the Athletics. They're playing in Sacramento. They don't even take on Sacramento's name. It this potentially could get me in trouble, but I think you live for these moments. Remember we talked about this briefly the other day, the salad bar brawl, right? That took place between Bob Knight and David Smith, the chancellor of the university. And I was doing some news talk radio at the time for one of our other stations. We didn't have Double T on 97.3 on the air at the time, and I might have made the comment, Jamie, because I was pretty supportive of Bob Knight because he's a basketball guy, right? I said, well, the only thing you need to know about David Smith is his wife didn't take his last name, which was true, and because she was a doctorate of something. And I got home that night, and the person that I live with, who shares my last name now, she said, well, what if I hadn't taken your last name? I said, well, I've been a deal breaker.
Really? I don't know if I've never really thought about it, but that's not a big deal to me.
Well, but I said that flippantly, but if push had come to shove, I probably would have been fine.
Yeah, I don't think it would have bothered me if my wife had resisted.
Anyway, that just kind of came to mind the other day. It wasn't. I don't know that it's like you really shouldn't say that out loud like that. I'm like, yeah, you're probably right.
So what does that say about a guy that if his wife doesn't? That
I think it's just she had a professional career. I don't know that it says anything about anybody, but. I didn't really care for him at the time, and I thought he was getting ready to ruin our basketball program, and I wanted to make sure Bob Knight was going to stay in town and not flee, because that's what I think the fear was, that he was going to just pick up his stuff and leave.
This has been the Morning Drive Podcast, presented by Cantex Roofing and Construction. Check out our library of Double T 97.3 podcasts at doublet97.3.com.